listening to an audio article by the Common Constitutionalist. Today's article is entitled, "If I Were a Cynic, I Might Not Believe the Kavanaugh Accuser." I can't believe I'm once again writing about this nonsense regarding Judge Kavanaugh and his accuser, Christine Blasey-Ford. But the situation has become so convoluted and so chaotic that it's taken the air out of most everything else political. Now, I'm trying not to become cynical, but the more we learn or don't learn, the more suspicious this and she becomes. So let me say I have no idea what happened, or didn't, and the fact is, unless someone comes forward and confesses, it can never be determined that the incident as she described happened at all, much less that Kavanaugh was the attacker. The only thing I am sure of is that this is the chaos the Democrats hoped for and thrive on. Now, I've listened to many women call into various programs over the past few days describing in vivid detail what happened to them many decades earlier, and there is a common thread which runs through all these assault victims' stories. They remember every detail, the who, the when, the what, the how, the where, everything. Yet Ms. Blasey-Ford isn't sure what year it was, but thinks it was 1982. She doesn't remember how she got home, but certainly remembers that she only had one beer at the age of 15. She remembers the incident in detail, but can't recall how she got home. No one knows what happened that night, if anything. Both the accused, Kavanaugh, and his friend Mark Judge deny it ever took place. So if I were a cynic, I might be thinking about why she can't recall how she made it home. A cynic would say that this is awfully convenient. If she were 15, she couldn't drive herself home. This would mean that somebody from the party took her, or she got another ride. This scenario would therefore inject yet another person into the mix. A cynic would then conclude that the reason she can't recall is that there was no ride home. For if there were, she would undoubtedly have been shaken by the experience and possibly confided to the driver just what she had just endured. A cynic would then further assume that Blasey-Ford would have to produce the name of her ride home, thus involving another witness. And if the incident did not occur, she would be stuck, not able to produce a name. So the only alternative is to conveniently forget how she got home. She wrote the now infamous accusal letter on July 30, 2018. She claims she never intended for her name to go public. This claim goes beyond just stretching incredulity. If true, this psychology professor with a bachelor's, master's, and PhD in her field is, as I've stated in a previous article, the dumbest smart person I've ever heard of. You write a confidential letter to Senator Dianne Feinstein, the ranking Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee, who is a leftist hack, bitterly opposes the Kavanaugh appointment, and will do anything to see he isn't confirmed. And this is the person you believe will see to it that you remain anonymous? How monumentally naive can she be? So forgive me for saying so, or even thinking of it, but this woman has a PhD in psychology and can't predict how something of this magnitude will likely play out? Please. So correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't psychology the scientific study of the mind and behavior? So if I were a cynic, I would conclude that this stinks to high heaven and reeks of, wait for it, collusion. Sure glad I'm not a cynic. Thank you for listening.